Film School Slacker contains adult language and themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Film School Slacker, the podcast where I go through my ever-growing watch list of movies I have not seen in pop culture. And with me is my best friend, Megan.
Hey, it's me.
Hi,
I'm Megan. Hi, Ian.
Oh, and I'm Ian. Fuck. Yeah.
Whatever. We'll get there.
Yeah. One day we're going to do an intro that works well, but I don't care, because at this point, having...
Today is not that day.
Yeah, today is not that day, and honestly, unique and different bad intros is maybe just going to become a thing.
Kind of fun.
It is. Okay. So, this week, this movie is one that I have to admit I have started. And that movie is 2001 Space Odyssey.
2001 A Space Odyssey from 1968, rated G, 2 hours and
Our
29.
Our first ever G movie.
I know, right?
Well,
one
of those Pixar movies had to be G.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look it up right now, though.
I don't know. Whatever. Starring Keir Dullea, Gary Lockwood, William Sylvester, Daniel Richter, a bunch of dudes.
Oh my God, so many dudes.
Directed by Stanley Kubrick.
Classic.
Written by Stanley Kubrick and Arthur C. Clarke.
Oh, right. I guess I kind of knew that.
Who, let's see. I know he did a bunch of weird stuff. I'm trying to look.
Arthur C. Clarke?
Yeah.
Yeah. He did a lot of like novellas and stuff too,
yeah.
right?
Yep. Childhood's End is one, which is about aliens. He's a very big sci-fi kind of guy. The Twilight Zone.
Yes. Okay.
Let's see. Tales of Tomorrow.
Welcome
from
to
1952.
The world of Shut up, Terry.
Shut up, Terry. It's a little thing called showmanship. God damn, I love that show.
Me too.
Yeah, that's all I
Okay.
can
And what year did you say again?
1968.
68. I knew it was like earlier than expected.
Yeah.
But like,
I always thought like 1970 to 75 was, but I mean, I believe 68 too. So
right. So you've seen this movie before?
Yes.
Ostensibly.
With an asterisk. I'm pretty sure I fell asleep during the middle of it.
This is the concern that I had as well, where I remember starting it and being like, wow, this is really slow paced.
Can we get on with it? I have an appointment.
Which is my bed.
Is, I am so tired.
Yes.
But I have seen all the iconic scenes.
Yeah. I know a lot of the kind of cultural touchstone stuff that you're saying, like you've got Hal the supercomputer, and there's the
monkeys and the monolith
and there's like some, I remember seeing some early spaceship stuff.
Yep.
I know that it was very, very well praised for its cinematography and set design and effects. Mm-hmm. And so that is the thing that I am the most excited to visit again, because
I think this is the movie that made people kind of take sci-fi a little more seriously.
Sure. And I
could be wrong about that.
Self-proclaimed sci-fi fan. And so, and sci-fi frequently is a genre full of foibles.
Oh, yes.
But I do like it beyond all those faults. And I am curious to see how this kind of like early example of a slightly higher class, kind of version of sci-fi, where, because like wasn't that many years after this, and Star Wars was on the scene.
Less than 10 years later.
Yeah.
1977.
77. Okay. Because Star Wars is kind of more like a space opera, Western kind of style. Mm-hmm. But I believe that it kind of piggybacked on some of the design aspects that they did.
Absolutely.
With 2001: A Space Odyssey. So I'm very excited to actually watch this movie for real, instead of like, so this is what happened. It was my old roommate Devrick and I. We were watching. We started to watch it. It was on Netflix. Mm-hmm. We fell asleep. It was like I'm too tired. Like I can't continue to watch this film. And then we didn't watch it the next day. We were gonna finish it.
Yeah.
We didn't watch it the next day. We sat down to watch it the next day, and it was off of Netflix. So we never finished it.
God damn it.
So I remember, like you said, like some of the monkey monolith stuff, and like the beginnings of there being space stuff.
Yeah.
But that's
it.
all I remember, and I don't remember any continuing narrative or through line or anything with any of that.
I'm pretty sure I fell asleep because I was just so bored.
Yeah. So,
and then I remember it wasn't like I fell asleep for the night. I think I just took like a quick nap.
Right.
Because I remember all the space stuff, but the monkeys and the monolith, I was just like.
So, I am very excited to
get this off the list.
Get this off the list. Well, I really hope that I find something that I really like, but I am very concerned that I am going to be very bored. But
I'll be interested to see what we pick out of this one.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Shall we roll the tape?
Let's do it.
Roll it. Okay, sorry. I'm awake.
What?
I'm awake.
All right, I'm here. I'm awake.
Okay, so
God, this movie felt
it's really long. It feels about an hour longer than it is. I think it does do one thing that it set out to do, which I think was to achieve time dilation, which I think it does pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I feel like I aged about 40 years while watching this movie. Well, so did Dave, and then he died, and then was
a baby
floating in space.
Yep,
like a giant baby in space.
Okay.
God.
So I want to start. I think the big thing is, I think that this is amazing to see how, as a person who is a fan of sci-fi in general, it's amazing how this was sort of the prototype.
Yeah.
Like it was like genuinely
for sure.
From like, it is basically like a visual guide. It's like making sci-fi, a visual guide by Stanley Kubrick. Like that's basically what it is. There's not any sense of real proper story. There's no sense of anything besides just like creating a visual guide.
Yeah.
Like there is literally like for example, Google, I don't know, however many years ago, created like their material standard, which is like all of the Google apps that you use follow the same rules. Like it's basically they created the visual standard for sci-fi, and we've literally been following it for the last like I don't know, like 50 some years.
Almost 60. Yeah, almost 60 years.
Yeah. It's
this
weird.
Came out in 68.
So there's
Good Lord.
I know. So there's a lot of things that I need to give it flowers for in that regard. Like that was not a thing until it existed, and they had to come up with that and do all that. And there's a lot of things that are really interesting about that.
Because before that, sci-fi was kind of
almost campy,
and cheap costumes. Cheap sets. You could tell
it was much more. Its love letter. The love letter of early sci-fi was basically Rocky Horror. Yeah, very campy, very cardboard cutouty, and over the top camp, which is also fun. Yeah, but totally different vibe than this trying to be like this super kind of hyper realistic design style. Yeah,
the design of the movie, the visuals of the movie, I can tell we're way ahead of its time. Very innovative, very, breathtaking in certain points. But at the same time, dear God, it was a slog.
It's a movie that I feel like takes itself too seriously. Yeah. And I think that's maybe the part that rubs me the wrong way. Like it's a movie that should have been about an hour and a half long.
Oh yeah.
If that, like based on the content that was there,
it could have, and it had the makings of a horror movie.
100%.
It told, like, if it was just that bit on the spaceship, with Dave and Frank and Hal. That could have been a really interesting horror sci-fi movie. But we have all the extra stuff. Right. And it becomes a very boring long movie.
Which is, I think this is why I'm, and we talked about this during the screening, why I'm excited for you to see Gravity, because it's the same but opposite. Like, it's
so much heavy breathing.
Yeah, it's a movie that is a converse situation, where this one is like very like, it's very time jumpy, it's very kind of slow, kind of plodding, and also very it doesn't have a time frame that it holds itself to in terms of the storyline. Whereas, and that's kind of by design. Like, in some ways I kind of get why that is. The difference with Gravity is it's also very, like, designed to be very, like, hyper realistic in terms of the space design. But conversely, it's almost like it's almost like real time.
Oh, okay.
So it's a very, very different idea and that you follow the same character throughout. Like, you are with her almost
through
to a uncomfortably close degree the whole time. So it's a totally different way of looking at the same kind of idea.
I'm going to hate it.
Oh, you are? And I'm going to really enjoy watching you hate it.
It'll be fun. But
because there are things that I don't, there are things I really do like about that film, and there are a lot of things I don't like. And I think that it's also similar in the fact that it changed the paradigm for visual design, because it's shockingly good. If you used, I'm trying to remember, I think it was Gravity, not Interstellar, but at least one of those where you, if you used like a regular like consumer computer to render all of the graphics that were required, you would have had to have started before the birth of Christ.
Yeah, like, I think I remember you telling me that. Yeah,
it's really amazing. It is genuinely really amazing from a design perspective and production perspective, which is something that I do care about. Yeah. But I also am the guy that's like, I want to do something that's fun and interesting production wise, but if it's not going to be good from a story perspective, I don't want to make it. Yeah, and that's just kind of always been.
Give me story.
Yeah,
give me interesting characters with characters I give a shit about.
Right.
Instead of these random astronauts going to Jupiter and the supercomputer that is gonna, mess with that. Which, again, by itself could be a really interesting movie.
Yeah.
There's stuff there.
There's the makings of a thing here. Yeah.
I just don't know why it took 2.5 hours.
Exactly.
Or an hour to get to that point.
Because it's not a movie, it's a visual reference book for how to make sci-fi.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is, it's weird, because if you look at it that way, it's kind of almost like kind of chill. Like, you kind of just take it in as a visual study, and it's kind of beautiful.
It's like leafing through a magazine versus reading a book.
Yeah, it's like 2.5 hours of nice, pretty pictures with some kind of interesting, kind of ethereal, classical sound to go along with it. And I mean, like, I took notes on this. Like, the first bit of human dialogue was at 31 minutes.
Yeah.
Which
drove me nuts.
Weird. Yeah. The first little bit of the movie, the first, 5-10 minutes, is in total darkness. Like, it's just it's just one of those things where it's like, I want to, this is a thing I've always struggled with in the world of like film, just going through school and everything. I want to be the guy who's like, I want you to have the space to build whatever you feel like you need to tell. I want to make sure that you have, I want to give you the space and my time to like tell the story you need to tell. Like, I remember times both with my own films, other films during school, where you are being judged by your own peers. And I have had people, either for friends or me, walk out of a screening of something that I'd edited.
Oh, wow.
Just because it was like, it was an early draft, and it was like, it was like a 20-minute draft, and it ended up being about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We cut 5 minutes out of the thing.
Apparently, Stanley Kubrick cut 19 minutes out of this cut.
He should have cut more.
I know. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But like you, like, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like as an artist, you should have however much time
you feel like you need.
But at the same time, like one of my big beliefs as an artist, as a creator, is that the artist's job is to entertain you for however long they have demanded your attention.
Exactly.
This did not hold my attention.
Yeah, that is exactly the issue that I come to. Is it's like I am the whole time that I was doing my storytelling, I want to believe that I was trying to give you information and try to be, you know, information giving, and it meant something to me that you were taking the time. Mm-hmm. What I feel like with this movie was, it really felt like Stanley Kubrick was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
You are entitled. I am entitled.
Yeah.
You know, your time.
Yeah. And I am taking your time.
Right.
I'm not taking my time. I'm taking your time,
and you're gonna like it. Like,
and
that's
if you
vibe.
Don't like it,
that's
you're
your problem.
You're charlatan.
Right. That's exactly the vibe I got from it. And so it
took itself too seriously. It needed some jokes. It needed some levity. It needed to be less than 2.5 hours long.
And even if it wanted to be totally serious and totally sterile and totally stoic, that's fine if that's the story they wanted to tell. But either way, it needs to be just taking up less of my time.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds very like 2024, like whatever, but like I just. That is, it rubbed me the wrong way, only in the fact that it felt like it was very, like it was just very self-entitled to my time. I don't know.
The fact that the reason it was a financial success in theaters was due to the fact that young adults would go see it high on hallucinogens for that last, 10-minute segment of multicolored landscapes.
Insanity Land. Oh my God.
Like that alone just tells me everything I need to know about the quality of the rest of the movie.
Right.
I'm just like, it's like 6 different movies rolled into one.
Right.
And kind of
and definitely for me, I really like all the stuff. I think you might be in the same boat too. All the stuff that took place in space, in space with people and man-made, space traveling stuff, was actually like incredibly compelling, genuinely compelling. And I enjoyed taking it in and looking at details and seeing how they handled things, because there's a lot of things that they kind of did that was almost tongue-in-cheek, like the grip shoes, and the hair up in sort of like almost like a turban kind of situation that held the hair in
balloon heads,
in like a low gravity environment. The Pan Am, everything's through a straw. Like there were parts of it that were pretty cheeky but really understated. And I don't know, like I just felt like that was a movie. Like that should have been the movie. That was the movie I wanted to see. And there was all this other shit that was happening around that movie. And I feel like this is just like a total generalization, but I feel like every sci-fi filmmaker since has been trying to make that movie. The movie that is 2001 Space Odyssey, the part that you like about it. But for everyone.
And not terrible,
but
not terrible, but not boring,
not a circle jerk. That's my biggest problem with it, is it's not terrible. It's just a circle jerk. Like that's what it is.
And like, I have a Stanley Kubrick film on my top 5 on the website, The Shining,
right, which
it has the same kind of periods of slowness and like, but they all serve a point. It serves to drive home the fact that Jack is going crazy, that Jack is losing his mind, and we don't get the out of context weird multicolor landscapes.
100%. Yeah.
And then the weird like porn set with an old man sitting in it. You know, like it. And I think it helps that The Shining is based off of a book. And,
100%.
You know.
Yeah, it creates a story.
Creates the story. And you have the story going into it.
I think that's what says a lot about the director, right? Because Stanley Kubrick ultimately was sort of, he and Arthur C. Clarke were sort of the imagination behind the storyline of this movie, quote unquote storyline. Whereas you had Stephen King driving the storyline behind The Shining, which tells you a lot about how Stanley Kubrick
really hated Kubrick's interpretation. But
I totally get
that
it.
had more to do with like casting and
100%.
The things that he cut from the book. That
added something that was important to Stephen King about it.
It's to Stephen King it
was important to something, and so, but at least in that case, his weird pacing and slow to fast kind of weird energy, his what I call Stanley Kubrick's cinematic edging, is had a point. Like to your point, had a point, and. In this movie, it was sort of like he did it because he could. Yeah. And that's what it felt like to me.
Because nobody was there to
tell him no.
There wasn't a story there to get back to, you know,
so
drive
it just
him
became,
forward.
It's like the whole pitch to me is just like, so what if you had a movie that was all establishing shots? Like that was kind of like, that's the vibe I get
all
from this
establishing shots. And a little bit of dialogue.
And
we hide a horror movie in the middle of it.
Right.
And then
a horror movie that you really want to watch.
And then we completely forget about it for the last 25 minutes.
Totally ditch it.
Just totally ditch it in the middle of space.
An entire piece that you actually would like to see and is very relevant.
Yes.
But no. Yeah, we never get any resolution to that film.
That was the actual pitch from Stanley Kubrick to MGM Studios. And
thank you for, you heard it here first.
Yes.
Yep. All right, let's get to my fucking notes.
Ugh.
Jesus Christ.
All 6 of them because we were so bored.
More than
okay. Yeah, you actually took a decent
number. They're not productive. As we've established before, they're not good notes. Like this is not.
It's just
if I'm ever making any real analysis, I've done something wrong. First note: is there ever going to be any visuals?
Nope. Well, yes, but
yes,
nope.
I'm gonna get more whiskey. Let me know if anything happens.
Nothing happened.
Wait, so we just have to get high to watch it?
Yes.
And then bum 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 bum.
Wait, no, that's Star Wars.
No, that's Star Wars.
I went Star Wars with it. Sorry.
That's just a Freudian slip.
Like that's iconic.
Right.
That's an iconic score right there.
Right.
And it's been used and reused and parodied.
It's almost become a farce of itself.
Like this whole movie, I mean, I would rather watch the Futurama episode where the ship gets a personality and becomes HAL 9000 voiced by Sigourney Weaver.
Which is amazing.
Because at one point they all get in the shower and it's meant to parody that scene in the pod where the 2 guys are talking and so Hal won't hear them.
Right.
And she actually says, "Oh man, I wish I could read lips," which is how Hal knew about
the right.
Yeah. I just like I gotta go back and rewatch that episode. Maybe we should do that before I leave.
I know. I think I might actually.
We need a palate cleanser.
We truly do. Truly.
Because that episode is super clever.
It's so clever,
so
and
good.
I bet we're gonna like it even more.
Oh yeah.
Now that it's fresh in our brains.
Yeah.
Nothing. Cinema spank bank cinematography. That's
like incredible visuals.
Visually phenomenal.
You know, it kind of reminds me of how I feel about The Revenant. Like incredible cinematography.
Sure.
Like absolutely gorgeous. I don't really give a shit about the rest of it.
That's fair. Like, I know you've talked about that where I'm like, I've never watched it because I actually don't care.
It's Leonardo DiCaprio screaming and crying covered in dirt for 2.5 hours.
That just sounds like Tuesday.
Well, normally he's just covered with 25-year-old girlfriends, so you know.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's
Sorry,
okay.
Leo. I calls them like I sees them.
Just calls them like you sees them. Nothing more uncanny than dudes in ape costumes.
Yeah.
Didn't love that.
Yeah.
They're not afraid of, like, the editor was not afraid of a fade in and fade out.
Oh, no.
Like, that was so jarring. I'm like, just make a movie that flows instead of just fading in and fading out.
Fade in, fade out, fade in, fade out.
Oh, all the cats in that early sequence had glowing eyes. And I couldn't tell if that was something that they intentionally did.
Or if it was
just because they shot in low light and all the cats had their pupils really wide. I actually don't know. But it was interesting.
Maybe it wasn't intentional, and then they noticed it while they were watching it back, and they're like, you know what? Let's make these cats look like aliens.
It definitely looked in camera. So whatever it was, either they were forcefully creating a light scenario that would cause the cats to their back of their eyes would reflect, or they were just because they were shooting in low light. It was just a thing anyway.
That happened.
But I don't know. It was really weird. But it was interesting.
That's what happens with cats in low light.
It truly. Insert gag about the monolith. I have nothing else to say about that.
There's 1,000 of them. They're all over the place.
We were talking about this. We talked a lot more in this movie with each other than we normally do.
Mostly because there was nothing else to do.
Yeah. You really need a watching buddy for this film.
You really do.
You do not watch this movie alone. You will either go crazy or fall asleep. Just have a buddy. Yeah. It's important. The monkey sequence, the slow-mo, when he was that was good slow-mo.
Bashing the skeleton.
Before I think it was Dirty Dancing where they were doing the choppy slow-mo. Fucking hated that. This was good slow-mo. Yeah. I like overcranked. It slowed down. It was great. I was a fan. The movement of the objects in space was a little bit weird. Like, it was almost just like someone had like a cutout of a starship on a cardboard stick and they were kind of moving it along. Like, felt a little almost uncanny. Something was weird about it. It was fine. Like, it was ultimately, I think it was extraordinarily impressive considering the age of the film. Like, it was, you could tell the amount of other, nerdy pop culture that's been inspired by this design. So I'm cool with that, but it was just, it was something that I noticed for sure, especially being the first instance of it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God she's got grip shoes. These slippers that just stick to the floor. Are they magnets? What are they?
That's a whole ass, that's a whole setting for a movie.
Right.
Is one of those planes.
Pan Am planes.
Pan Am to space.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that movie was made and it was The Fifth Element.
Oh. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wrong,
there's so many movies that were spawned from single elements of this film, which is kind of why I'm I get why there's reverence. I get why people really like it.
I understand why
just
this is
weird.
Such an iconic thing, such an iconic film in the world of sci-fi.
Right. It influences so much stuff.
But I much prefer
all of the derivative films that come off of that. 100%.
Because most of them have, plot.
Exactly.
And character.
There was the video telephone. I was like, yes, this was before the dismantling of the Bell system. Hashtag Daddy's traveling. They were in that lobby area in the circle part. There's a name for that kind of spaceship design, but it doesn't matter.
The orbital
thing where you walk around the outside of it.
Yeah.
There was just they were all sitting there, and there was this woman, and she was in the dress that Jacqueline Kennedy was wearing when JFK was shot. It looked just it was this that pink Chanel suit vibe. I'm like, why is there a pink lady walking through the background of the shot? It was almost distracting how ridiculous the outfit was. But yeah, that's just me.
Maybe it was Jackie O.
Maybe it was
just a cameo.
Wouldn't that be awesome if it was just Jackie O walking?
That'd be hilarious.
I love that. Oh, and then there was 3. And I was like about to applaud this film because there was 3 women at the table, like during this like very important business discussion in the late 60s. But then I noticed that none of them were drinking anything other than what appeared to be water,
and none of them got to spoke except for one of them.
Except for one of them, right? The representative speaking woman.
And all 3 of them were the same hairstyle and the same dress.
Correct.
So they were pretty much interchangeable.
I would like to assume they're mainlining some sort of clear spirit, but we'll see what it is.
Yeah, no, for their sake, I'm gonna say it was just straight gin.
I would love that.
Just gin.
I would love that for them.
No tonic, just gin.
Just the gin.
Just only gin.
# only gin. Oh, and then I just wrote in goes on tangent about Pan Am. I won't. I don't think. Only if we have to pad things out. Because I don't remember if Pan Am just folded or they like got folded into a different airline. Anyway, not important. There were a lot of rules for the zero gravity toilet.
There were.
That was a shocking I
kind of wanted to pause and read them.
Do you think that we could
I'm sure there's a still on the internet somewhere.
Oh my God,
because
should we ask?
Because there was a shocking amount of rules. I'm like, how complicated is this zero gravity toilet? And why?
I didn't see. Oh.
Did you find it?
Yep. Thank you, Reddit.
Thank you, Reddit.
It's a full.
Oh my God, it's a full thing.
Number 1. The toilet does have a standard anti-gravity type. Depending on requirements, System A or System B can be used, details of which are clearly marked in the toilet compartment.
Number 1 or number 2?
Literally.
That influences how much gravity
you need. When operating in System A, to press a lever, the plastic Dulcrin eliminator will be dispensed to the slot immediately underneath. When you have fastened the adhesive lip, attach connection marked by the large X outlet hose. Twist the silver-colored ring on 1 inch below the connection point until you feel it lock. Number 2, the toilet is now ready for use. The Sonovac cleanser is activated by the small switch on the lip.
No!
When securing, twist the ring back to its initial condition so that 2 orange lines meet. Disconnect.
What the hell?
Place the Dulcrin eliminator in the vacuum receptacle in the rear. Activate pressing the blue button. The controls for System B are located in the opposite wall. The opposite wall? This is a whole operation. The red release switch places I'm so sorry. What did that say? Hold on. The controls for pieces are located in the opposite wall. The red release switch places the eliminator into position. It can be adjusted manually up or down by pressing this is like a really complicated bidet control.
I was gonna say, is it like a tube that you pee into that clicks onto your
yeah, everyone has twist lock genitals now.
I guess
the opening itself is
in 2001.
The opening is self-adjusting. To secure after use, press the green button, which simultaneously... I'm going to see if I can get Janet to read all of these for us as like an extra thing.
Yes.
So this activates the evaporator and returns the Uroliminator to storage position. You may leave the lavatory if the green exit light is on over the door. If the red light is eliminated, one of the lavatory facilities is not properly secured. Press the stewardess call button on the right of the door. She will secure all facilities from her control panel outside, of course. When the green exit light goes out, you may open the door and leave. Please close the door behind you. We're not done yet. Number 5. Done? To use the sauna shower, there's a sauna shower too.
There's a sauna shower.
First, undress and place all your clothes in the clothes rack. Put the Velcro slippers located... Oh, they're Velcro.
Oh, that makes sense.
Velcro slipper, that would make sense. Located in the cabinet immediately below. Enter the shower. On the control panel to your upper right upon entering, you will see a shower seal button. Press to activate. A green light will then illuminate immediately below. On the intensity knob, select the desired setting. Now to press the Sonovac activation lever, bathe normally.
I don't think I could.
Performance issues or...
I mean, just like... Also, my feet don't get clean because I have to put them in the nasty ass slippers. Or is it a new pair of slippers that automatically goes in? I don't know, man. I don't think I trust this toilet system.
Yeah, well, we're only at step 6. The Sonovac will...
How many?
10.
That is too many steps.
I
will hold it.
I'm already committed.
I'm going to hold it.
You may have to hold it for like 17 months.
I don't care.
The Sonovac will automatically go off after the 3 minutes unless you activate the manual off override switch by flipping it up. When you're ready to leave, press the blue shower seal release button. The door will open and you may leave. Please remove the Velcro slippers and place them in their container. Do they just go to the next person who uses them? That's disgusting.
That's what I said.
Ugh. Step 7. If the red light above the panel is on, the toilet is in use. When the green light is illuminated, you may enter. However, you must carefully follow instructions when switching the facilities during coasting 0G flight. Inside, there are 3 facilities. 1, the sauna wash, 2, the sauna shower, and 3, the toilet. All 3 are designed to be used under weightless conditions. Please observe the sequence of operation for each individual facility. Number 8, 2 modes for sauna washing your face and hands are available. The moist towel mode and the Sonovac ultrasonic cleaner mode. You may use either mode by removing the appropriate lever to the activate position. If you choose the moist towel mode, depress the indicated yellow button and withdraw items. When you are finished, discard the towel into the vacuum dispenser, holding the indicated lever in the active position until the green light goes on. Showing that the rollers have passed the towel completely into the dispenser. If you desire an additional towel, please press the yellow button and repeat the cycle. If you prefer the Sonovac ultrasonic cleaning mode, press the indicated blue button. When the twin panels open, pull forward rings A and B. For cleaning the hands, use this in this position, set the timer knob for 10, 20, 30, or 40, indicative of the number of seconds required. The knob to the left, just below the blue light, has 3 settings: low, medium, or high. If normal use, the medium setting is suggested. After these settings have been clearly made, you may activate the device by switching to the on position and the clearly marked red switch. If during the washing operation you wish to change the settings, place the manual off override switch to the off position. You may make the changes and repeat the cycle.
Good Lord.
They wrote all of that on the actual set piece. That is massive hunk of text.
That is so much.
To drop, but I want you to hear it. In fact, anyway, that was crazy.
That is bonkers.
I was not ready for it to be that much of an actual text.
I know.
But it is kind of fascinating from like the perspective of like the late 60s that they like people were clearly putting thought
into how you would pee and poo in space.
Yeah.
And shower.
Yeah, and wash your hands.
And your face.
Use a moist towel or an ultrasonic situation. That's pretty exciting.
God. That's too much.
Yep. I wasn't ready.
Guys, that could have been on the inside of the toilet where we wouldn't have had to see it.
Outside. 100% outside.
But what if I forget? I have ADHD. What if I forget the instructions halfway through?
I bet they're inside too.
Okay. Whew.
Just so you're. I mean, like, I assume.
I mean, I would hope.
say check your phone, but they didn't have phones. They just had HAL 9000.
Yeah. Would I have to talk to Hal about my poos?
I'm sorry, Megan. I can't flush that.
I can't flush that. I'm sure my toilet has said that to me a couple times.
Classic. Oh god. And then our podcast just gets canceled.
That's okay.
This classical music is very nice, but I'm quite tired.
It's I just why?
Yeah. Yep. It was like one of those things where like I get it. Just stop it about 2 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
In every situation.
The whole movie.
Oh,
just
God.
stop it about 2 minutes earlier.
Once you've edited a couple of like short films with a time constraint, this whole thing just feels just so masturbatory.
Long.
Ugh. The cinematography is so good though.
It is. It's super good.
Did the Gemini era spacesuits influence this or vice versa? I never looked that up because like
I don't know.
There was some like spacesuit crossover back and forth. I think.
Yeah.
For some of that.
Also, forgot to mention on the podcast here that this movie came out before the moon landing.
Right. So the Gemini and the Mercury space programs were already happening.
Yes, but not
I believe, but
Apollo.
not Apollo, which is wild, frankly.
Yeah.
Like, that is pretty crazy that this movie was just like in there right when this was all happening, but before like we kind of got to the point where we were truly doing
and this
all the stuff.
Movie is part of the reason why people think that Stanley Kubrick helped fake the moon landing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't actually care.
I don't either. Frankly.
I was not alive for the moon landing.
Right. Food slop. Like, there was just a lot of like.
There's a lot of food slop.
Like, it was just like, I don't like space just from the food perspective.
Right.
Ugh.
Well, so the first time I ever went to Florida, I was 6 years old, 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to Cape Canaveral.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was a kid. It was pretty cool. And we bought some freeze-dried spaceman snacks.
Yeah.
And when we got back home, I went to my dad's house and brought some of the space snacks with me.
Yeah.
And we ate them. And apparently, I threw them all up. The freeze-dried aspect did not agree with young
6-year-old
Meghan's
Meghan.
digestive system. Apparently,
Yeah.
it was a mess. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah. Well,
but
in freeze drying is weird.
freeze drying is weird.
There's a YouTuber that I watch because I'm a nerd. His name is the channel's name is Technology Connections.
Uh-huh.
And it's stuff like, you want to know all about all the inner workings of your dishwasher? Like, that's
cool,
the kind of
yeah.
shit that he does. And he did a whole thing about freeze drying.
Yeah.
And like, he bought a freeze drying system.
Yeah.
Just to fuck around with it and like talk about it. And it's just dumb.
It's very weird.
It's weird because it's sublimation. So like, you bring down. The process basically is like you basically freeze something normally. Mm-hmm. You put it into this machine on a tray, and the tray is usually heated to like 112 degrees Fahrenheit, and the whole environment around it is well below freezing, like freezer temperature, and there's a full vacuum pulled on it. And what it does is it sublimates all of the water out of the
sucks
structure.
all the water out.
Right. And so then you
Maybe
just
I was
have
dehydrated.
Potentially.
Maybe that's why I threw it up. I don't know.
Either way, what happens is you consume foodstuffs that has everything but like that water component,
moisture content,
right? And also if it didn't go correctly, like if the freeze drying process didn't go correctly, there may be a teensy bit of moisture in it, and it can mold.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. Is like you could have had like a bad.
My sister-in-law has a freeze dryer, so she's mostly just been freeze drying like candy. And I mean,
there's two kinds of people. There's like millennials that like to freeze dry fun stuff, or doomsday preppers. There's no in between.
Yeah, she's Gen Z, but technically Gen Z, but you know.
So she's the fun candy.
She's the fun candy person,
not the doomsday prepper.
Not the doomsday prepper.
That's always fun.
She So Aaron will go to her place and come back with like random freeze dried candies like peach rings and gummy worms and gummy bears, and it's kind of weird. Have you ever had freeze dried Skittles?
I haven't, because every time I've wanted to commercially, it's always been contaminated with allergens.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Maybe I should have.
Yeah, if you can acquire some, I'd be interested in trying them.
Yeah, especially
peach rings. I think I might have actually tried Skittles.
Yeah.
But
they're
the peach
pretty
rings
ubiquitous.
are kind of tough because if you get them in bulk, they're usually not safe.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
It may not be a problem on her end. It might be a problem
on the production end. Yeah.
Hi, Hal.
Yeah, Hal 9000.
We know about Hal.
We know about Hal. We know Hal's dirty secret.
Right. Hal GPT. Oop.
Hal homicidal maniac.
God damn it, Hal. Why did I want the guy on the phone's dad to be Mel Brooks? I don't know. There was like a weird vibe there. Yeah. 2001 Space Aesthetic.
Yeah.
At some point I was like, somebody actually put a lot of time into the science. Like, I'm looking at these scenes where he's in the ships, or he's starting to work on stuff, and Hal becomes a more major component. Like, there's a genuine decent amount of like I'm like, oh yeah, actually that's kind of how it does work now. Or like they did research on things that either they had already done for like the Gemini and Mercury programs, or the stuff that they had done was so sensical that they ended up kind of using it later, which I always that's one of my favorite parts about sci-fi.
Or
is
Stanley Kubrick already knew all that information from when he faked the moon landing. I'm kidding. I don't actually give a shit if he did or not.
There's a Netflix movie that came out somewhat recently that like I think somebody was watching it near me on the airplane on the way back from California.
There's an HBO rom-com.
Is that what it is? HBO
about
Fly Me to the Moon.
Yeah,
and it's like
got
Channing
Scarlett
Tatum
Johansson
and ScarJo. Yeah. And it was,
and it's like they're faking the moon landing like just in case the real one doesn't go well.
Right. So he's like an actual NASA mission control guy, and she's like a marketing agency person.
Yeah. I kind of want to watch that.
I just kind of like glanced out of the corner of my eye when I was watching it, and I'm like, that actually looks like it could be kind of cute. Like maybe. I don't know. I just kind of like ScarJo, so maybe that's why. But like, she cleans up nice. You know what I'm saying?
You know.
She works well in a period piece.
She does. She has that like universal like
you
that
throw her
starlet
into whatever
face.
vibe. Yeah, she looks like she could be from the 20s. Face. She could look like she's from whatever. Like in Jojo Rabbit, she was perfect in Jojo Rabbit.
You haven't seen Hail Caesar.
No.
She's
okay.
Perfect in that one.
Okay.
Because that's a Coen Brothers 1940s, 1950s.
There's a lot of most of the Coen Brothers.
You haven't seen?
I have not seen.
Oh, it's so good.
So good news, we can put it on
I know.
the podcast.
I'm like, yes, because I've seen a fair number of Coen Brothers movies, and I just adore them.
I do have a Coen Brothers movie that's coming up on our list.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm hoping our buddy Mitch can join us for that when he's in town, because that would be.
Let's do it.
It's so fun.
I love that. I think that was the first one I ever saw.
Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, it came out like 2002.
Oh, I'm the man of constant sorrow. Yeah,
God damn, it's so
I've
good.
I've only seen like just like bits and
clips.
pieces, and I do genuinely want to see it because it looks like it's just really fun.
John Turturro.
Right. That's like George Clooney too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen Big Lebowski?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the Coen Brothers movies I have seen. Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I feel like we've watched it.
Yeah,
together,
we probably have. I don't know, man. I'd rather be watching The Martian.
Did I say that? I feel like. Or
I think I think I said it out loud.
And I agreed.
Yeah,
wholeheartedly.
we were both on board with that. We were just like, if it weren't for this podcast, we would have been watching The Martian tonight.
Yes,
that's almost certainly what would have happened.
So good. Yeah, that's such a good movie. I love Matt Damon.
Truly, so good. Captain Blondebeard. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. That's for Hal. I was like, I think Frank is gonna die. Like really early, I'm like, I think Frank is gonna die. And then Frank died. Got mutilated.
Just got left out in space.
Yep. Oh, here's another one. It's a movie. We don't need an intermission. Jesus. So much. Just like, let me take more of your time.
Yeah.
I love when Dave is like in that pod, like trying to manipulate the whatever, and you can see the color and stuff of the screens on his face. I think that is really cool, and I don't think a lot of that had been done previous to that. And that is industry standard now. Yeah. Like Iron Man, like where you get like not only do you see the overlay in front of him, but you can see color. It reflecting on him. Like that's pretty cool. Like that is a massive component that is actually like a thing. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Sorry,
like
Dave.
that's such a famous line.
I can't do that.
That's a "Are you not entertained?" kind of line.
That's where the line comes from. Sorry, Dave.
Dave, you cannot survive the vacuum of space. And he's like, I don't care.
It's like, I'll show you I can't survive the vacuum of space, and then he kind of does.
Definitely
but
can't.
Wouldn't.
The problem isn't the lack of air. Well, it is, but it's not the problem that there's like not
the
oxygen.
Temperature.
Well, it's not just that. Like the idea of like not wearing a space helmet is not because you don't have enough oxygen.
Yeah.
It's because there is a total lack of gases.
Oh yeah.
So like you would just like explode.
Yeah.
Like you would just kind of like like it would be
everything in your body is not
your blood
designed.
would boil.
Yeah.
Like you would like things that you would just die. Like it's not a I'm just gonna hold my breath. That's not how that works.
That's not the case.
It would be, and maybe you could survive, but you would be, even if you did survive,
you would not
look like how Dave looked.
Yeah.
Well, not at the end, but you know what I mean.
Not at the end where he looked like a testicle.
Literally. Just like, oh, look, it's a scrotum. Oh, it's Dave. I'm so sorry,
look,
Dave.
it's old scrotum face.
Old scrotum face. Old scrotum face. I personally love to take a stress pill and think things over.
Me too. Why was it a stress pill and not like an anti-stress pill?
No, it was a stress pill.
Just a stress pill.
They didn't have proper psychotropics in the 60s. They didn't know what to call anything.
I don't think they need. I mean,
they didn't know what chill pill was yet.
I guess that's fair. They just took hallucinogenics and went to see this movie.
Exactly. Dave has this magic Allen key that just unlocks all the things.
Yeah.
And Hal is HOTTOGO.
HALGTOGO.
Hal to go.
Hal to go. HALTOGO. You can take me, Hal to go.
Jesus Christ. Oh, and then once he kills Hal, like that, it like releases that video of like this mission is like aliens,
the secret mission,
and it was just like so flickery. I'm like, could we not have gotten like the tubes lined up?
Strobe effect.
Yeah, I'm like, holy epilepsy warning, Batman.
I literally looked away because I'm like, I don't need to have a seizure right
tonight,
now.
Literally. And then we get into the. I need everyone to know that my roommate just texted Hal, just spelled out Hal to go, and just texted
Can she
it to
hear
me.
us?
I assume
probably.
Yeah. Oh, so we get into the trippy stuff, right?
Yeah.
And this is when I went. This movie makes me hate Interstellar more.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I thought at least Interstellar was being like interesting, and the fact of the matter was it wasn't.
They took that whole 4D sequence.
They took my least favorite part of this movie and made that a core component of that movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no thanks.
Matt Damon was also in that movie. Yeah, he was the guy they left that got left behind.
Right. He was a douchebag. That's right. He played the bad guy.
He was the bad guy.
Oh, and
that was another really fucking long movie.
That was a long movie.
It was like a
couple of these space movies. I'm like, you don't need to try to prove time distortion. Like, you don't need to try to prove that,
guys. I get it.
Oh, and Allie would like us to mention their spacesuits when they look down. They look like geckos.
Yeah, they have like the weird. They have like, 2 eyes on either side.
Like gecko Power Rangers. Yeah, it's very weird.
It's very weird gecko Power Ranger-y.
Yeah.
I did like that they had brightly colored spacesuits.
I did too. It was.
I feel like that's a missed opportunity by NASA.
Right. Like, does it cost more to make them red?
I mean,
don't
probably,
understand. But like $10, just make it happen.
Yeah. Just or just like make them out of like paisley.
Right.
Or buffalo check corduroy.
Oh yes, 100%.
Because that's totally space approved.
Absolutely. How is the sequence still going? Because that did go on.
It went on for way so long.
Dave has left the library. Dave has been saved.
Ugh.
And if you need to explain that, if you need that explained to you, then just, I don't know, go watch some 2010 Doctor Who.
Watch Doctor Who. I can't remember what season and what episode, but the silence in the library.
Dave needs some water.
Yeah.
And I also did not like the Cosmic Baby. That was not...
Cosmic Baby was...
That cosmic embryo vibe was
very weird.
Not my thing.
With a see-through uterus.
Yeah, though I will say I thought the design was really cool. With the like from 1968. Mm-hmm. Having a gigantic
space baby,
space embryo is pretty amazing. Like, it looks really pretty good.
Yeah, no, it looks really good for 1968.
It's great visual artistry.
Yes.
I just wish that there was some reason for it. Like,
right.
You know, like that's
other than
yeah. Yeah.
Fucking whatever reason there is. Should we rate this thing so we can just be done with it and never, ever, ever speak of it ever again?
Look, I want to like it. I just don't.
I just don't. I just.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear.
Also,
can we just say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Production design. I am willing to give production design a 5.
Same. Especially for 1968.
100%. Super amazing.
It holds up.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
very well done.
Yep.
10 out of 10. I guess 5 out of 5.
So story.
-3.
-3.
I'll give it like a 2.
I'm gonna give it a 2. Yeah.
Because there was a bit of story, but not enough of it to
happened. And in fact, the part of the story, there was some story that showed up that I actually thought was kind of compelling and even relevant to today with AI, but they squandered it so much that I couldn't even bring that into like connecting to today because there wasn't enough to really talk about.
Right. It was a blink and you miss it.
Exactly.
Which for a movie that took 2.5 hours.
A blink and you miss it for the storyline is very sad.
Is really sad.
Therefore, it gets a 2.
Yes.
Performances. This is interesting.
I'd say I'm kind of neutral on it. I'd say a 3.
I think I might be even willing to give it a 3.5.
Because other than Dave, we don't really sit with enough characters to actually.
I really genuinely liked the actor who played Dave's portrayal.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was good. I didn't find anyone else to be that exciting one way or another. I'd be willing to give it a 3.5.
Okay, 3.5 is fine.
Let's see. Cultural impact.
I will reluctantly give this a 4.5.
Yeah, I think it's hard to not, based on how we've built our rating system for that,
and especially since if you've been in pop culture or interested in pop culture for the last 60 years, you've probably come across several references to this movie, or heard it spoken of in highfalutin artsy whatever.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So that gives us
a
3.8.
Dang.
Which is really low for us.
Yeah.
It is second only to Hot Tub Time Machine.
So it's not the last on our ratings, but it
is not.
It's not.
We
docked
it
too.
Very heavily. On story. Which I think is well deserved. So it tied with Fight Club.
Oh,
with 3.8.
Interesting.
And 3.9 with 16 Candles.
Huh. All right.
So, yeah, that was a movie that we can now check off the list.
Thank God.
And not have to worry about
never
again.
Ever think about or talk about or deal with ever again because
yeah.
Let's go watch a 20-minute Futurama episode where they covered this movie better than the movie did.
I agree. Let's do that.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in this week. Thanks for listening for Film School Slacker. My name is Ian.
I'm Meghan.
And we will see you next time.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to Film School Slacker. Our graphic design is by Mitch Ransdell. Music by Ariel Shalom and Ziv Moran. Voiceover audio provided by Mike D and Janet Paoni. Learn more at filmschoolslacker.com.